Would you pity a woman who had a neglectful mom? Someone who learned that they were supposed to change your bed sheets when she was over the age of 20? What if that person later started lying to the world that she had brain cancer? Someone who convinced all of Australia that diet and diet alone cured her. Would you still pity her? This is the story of Belle Gibson through the lens of Samantha Strauss, the creator of the Netflix TV show Apple Cider Vinegar. This is a recap of episode 5 and 6, but before we get to the unnecessarily detailed version, let me do a very quick recap of episodes 1 through 4. For the first 4 episodes, this story is told in a way where we get snippets of the past which are being retold from the present either through Belle, Mila, Chanel, Lucy, or Justin. Belle was a 20-something-year-old when she came across a blog post from Mila. At this point in time, Belle was in a failing relationship with a baby to take care of, with a deadbeat job where nobody liked her. But Mila's post gave her something to cling to. Mila was a normal 22-year-old who didn't have a care in the world until she started noticing some bumps on her arm. The doctors told her that it was cancer, that the best course of action would be to cut her arm off. But Mila didn't want to believe it. She couldn't live the rest of her life armless. So she does her own research and she finds out about the Hirsch Institute, a place that claims to cure diseases through juicing and coffee enemas. Inspired to share her story, Mila starts posting her experiences online through a blog. She's amassed a pretty big following because, truth be told, she was an amazing storyteller. That storytelling got Belle so entranced that she posted online about her own brain cancer. But the catch was that Belle didn't actually have brain cancer. Her reports came out squeaky clean. But when she posted about her non-existent disease online, she got all of these lovely comments from all of these internet strangers. This was the love she was starved of for years, from her neglectful mother and eventually Belle's boyfriend. For the next few months, she incessantly sends texts to Mila while at the same time ending her relationship with her boyfriend and getting together with Clive, an IT guy. She starts tossing around the idea of an app, but nothing really materializes until she shows up to one of Mila's in-person events and gets completely brushed off by Mila. I'm not sure if it was the blatant disrespect or if it was the fame and the love that Mila was getting at these events, but this event caused Belle to kick up her investments into high gear. She got these app developers along with a photographer. One fight with her mother, one miscarriage, and multiple long nights later, she had an app. The whole pantry went live. Belle immediately took to Instagram to tell her story, and almost instantly her message hit home. She got an outpour of support along with a very, very loyal following. One of these followers was Lucy. Lucy was a happy woman until she got diagnosed with breast cancer. She tried to stay positive, but the chemo sessions were hard. They were hard not only on her and her body, but also on her husband, Justin. But everything changed when Lucy came across Belle's page. She wanted to live like that, go do what she wanted to do, combat her cancer her way. But when she told Justin about Belle, he didn't want to hear it. Justin is a reporter. He doesn't trust all these Instagram people and hates that they're feeding his wife this bullshit. When their relationship was on the verge of breaking, Lucy left. She left on a retreat to Peru. Justin, realizing just how dangerous Belle is, starts digging into her with the help of Chanel. Chanel is super duper important to this story because she has the entire inside scoop. She was Mila's oldest friend and she had been helping her build up her business. But the thing with Mila was that she was doing it for free. She was Mila's friend and money was tight with Mila. When Belle had offered her money, she couldn't resist, despite Mila and Belle being mortal enemies. She took the offer, but taking the offer started the worst time of Chanel's life. Sure, at first things were rosy, right? She was going on business class flights, drinking champagne with Apple executives, but the longer she stayed, the more she noticed discrepancies with Belle's story. For example, Belle had embarked on a mission recently to raise money for Hunter, a kid who has brain cancer, the same brain cancer that Belle supposedly had. Chanel had spent countless hours making chicken chickpea curry for the family, but she found out that instead of passing it on to Fiona and Hunter, Belle ate it herself. Who does that? We ended the previous episode with Mila's mom collapsing. She has cancer, by the way. Lucy putting down a payment for another ritual in Peru, and Belle collapsing to the ground, convulsing, because she needs to prove to Chanel that she actually does have cancer. I hope all of that made sense. If it doesn't, please go back and watch the previous parts, or even better, watch the show. Anyway, the next episode starts with us getting a glimpse of what Belle's mother told the magazine. Women, especially mothers, we have to be everything to everyone all at once. I've practically worked myself into an early grave to give that girl everything she wanted. If she lost her favorite teddy bear, would you believe we'd go as far as Toowoomba? Her father, my husband, Andy, and I, we would drive all the way back to Toowoomba and to the same baby shop where we can get the same teddy bear. That's how much we loved her. And the magazine printed every word in their newest edition. Belle is fuming as she stomps her way inside this kid's playground and flings the magazine in front of Heck. You were meant to protect me. Were you trying to fuck me? I'm calling 60 Minutes, okay? You won't be getting the commission. Is that your ex? Hey, he needs professional help. He has serious issues with substance abuse. Heck tries to drag her out as his ex-wife watches stunned. Belle rips her hand away. I hope you sort out your own shit, okay? We are done. No commission. Heck yells after her that he doesn't care, but Belle doesn't look back. She just throws up her middle finger and walks away. And then we cut to Belle's mom. I can't begin to tell you how embarrassed we are by what that girl has done, and for all the poor people who she's deceived. For the small part that we have played in her life, I am deeply and profoundly sorry. And that right there was the front cover of the magazine that blew up Belle's life. Her mom worked with the magazine people to expose her own daughter. And you know, it would have been great if she did it for the reason of making sure that more people weren't getting hurt by Belle and all of these false medical rumors that she was spreading, but that's not why Belle's mom stepped up. No, she did it for the perks of being able to order as much food as she wanted, drink as much alcohol as she wanted, and steal a pantsuit from the multi-million-dollar magazine company. And I'm sure that her mom, being this type of person, is a huge part as to why Belle is laying on the floor convulsing from a brain tumor she doesn't even have. To Chanel, it looked so real, the way Belle fell to the floor, the way her body bent and curled and shook. It just didn't feel like a lie, especially when the episode went on for 40 minutes. But the one thing Justin doesn't understand in this whole thing is Clive. What does Clive get out of this? Is this just for money, or is there something more? You think he'd talk to me, Chanel? Even off the record could be all that's needed. I doubt it. I mean, he's a bit, I don't know, although you do get a sense. And the scene cuts to Clive, who's letting out a string of silent curses in the kitchen. The man is so clearly fed up with all of the bullshit that's happening in this house, and I don't know if that was the sense that Chanel got, because halfway through her sentence, she changes her tune. Actually, I don't know. He might. The next morning, Belle is laying in bed with a wet towel on her forehead as Clive tries to get her out of bed. Belle, come on, get dressed. I'm sick. Yeah, so we're going to the hospital. You want your trackies or your jeans? Belle looks a little panicked as she rapidly rises from the bed. Meanwhile, downstairs, Chanel's phone beeps. Her face falls and her eyes start to tear up as she reads a text and makes a call, but the call goes to voicemail instead. Hey, Mills, I just heard, I don't really know what to say. I'm here. You can call me whatever you need. Just, I'm so sorry. I love you. No sooner does she end her call does Belle come stomping downstairs. Chanel, Clive's making me go to the hospital. Will you be here when I come back? Sleepover? Mila's mom just died. Chanel is completely scatterbrained as she looks around and grabs her bag. Belle remains silent for a while before asking when. I don't know. They were on a trip to Mexico, and I really don't know. Are you going up there to see her? Yeah, she used to drive me to school. I was there all the time. I grew up there, you know? At this point, Belle can tell Chanel is about to break down into sobs, so she wraps Chanel in a hug, saying, "Poor Mila." But Chanel isn't having it. She pushes Belle off of her and walks away. Yeah, poor Mila. And you can tell that this is the moment Chanel no longer believes Belle. It's the moment she realizes that she abandoned her childhood friend for someone like Belle. And when Chanel leaves and Clive shoves her into a car, Belle takes to social media to write, "R.I.P. Tamara Blake, a tragic loss, with the angels now." A couple minutes later, Clive pulls up to the hospital while Belle is still glued to her phone. He sits there for a couple seconds staring at her, but when she's still typing away on her phone, he speaks up. "Come on, wait, I just need to send flowers to Mill." But Clive snatches her phone out of her hand and Belle looks appalled. "What are you doing? You're acting like a crazy person." "You had a seizure. You need to see a doctor, Belle." He tries to take off her seatbelt, but she pushes his hand away. "Can you not?" "That little boy was terrified, Belle. He was shaking in my arms." "I'm sorry that I collapsed. You think I'm a bad mom, like Natalie." No, I think you need help. This is about your parents, isn't it? Every time you come back from Adelaide, they get into your head. But it's not his parents that are in Clive's head. It's Belle. Belle is the one in there all the freaking time. If she doesn't go in there, he is done. And Belle is left speechless. It's almost like she didn't expect him to talk back to her, so she changes her tune completely. "We have such a beautiful family. You guys have such a bond. You're like soulmates. It would break his heart if you left." Kids go between households all the time. They adjust, Belle. "What, like shared custody? You, me, Nathan? How would that even work, huh? You're not on his birth certificate. You don't have any rights." "Which is so unfair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please. Hey, I promise I'll see a doctor, okay? I'll make an appointment. You can come with me, okay? Can we please just go home now so Bubby can unwrap his presents, okay? Don't do this, Clive, please. I promise, okay, please." And while she's trying to cajole him, she's like climbing him and kissing his neck, but Clive is beyond pissed. She's not only manipulating him, but she's doing this in front of their kid. He storms out of the car and takes a second to breathe as Belle continues to beg him to come back into the car. A couple seconds later, Clive angrily thrusts her phone back to her. "Here's your fucking phone. Don't ever fucking do that in front of him again." While Clive and Belle's relationship is falling apart, Mila's and her dad's relationship is basically unsalvageable at this point. Mila is trying her best at dinner to talk to him, but his responses are one-worded. He just looks so defeated. A few minutes into dinner, her dad takes a deep breath and asks his first question. "She died in agony, didn't she?" Mila is silent for a while, and when her dad repeats his question, she quietly answers yes. And that answer breaks his heart. He chokes down a sob and tells them he's going to bed now, so the two of them should just hit the road. That night, Mila is sitting on her toilet, silently crying while unwrapping the bandage that she's wrapped around her arm. It's clear that the salve isn't helping her cancer, but for some reason, Mila just can't accept that. Arlo is outside the bathroom listening to her silent sobs before he knocks on the door. "Mila, you coming to bed?" In a minute." "Hey, Mills, are you still using that black salve stuff? I've been reading about it and I think maybe you should chuck it." And for the first time in her life, she listens. She angrily chucks the bottle of salve that night. Back with Belle, she's meeting with Chanel at a cafe to talk about her book stuff. But Justin is curious as to why Chanel kept working with her when she had all of these doubts. And the truth is that she doesn't know. Her insides were all tied up. Belle had started to repulse her. Now, fun fact, do you guys remember all the way back in episode 1 when Lucy had that conversation with Belle? Well, while Belle and Lucy were connecting about their cancer, Chanel was on the phone with Mila. How was it, Mila? I sent flowers. I don't know if you got them. We asked for donations." "Sorry, that was bitchy." No, it's okay. I was gonna come, but Arlo said that he didn't think you wanted. It was just family, so we'll do a memorial another time." "How's Joe holding up?" "I think I have to go, Chanel." "Wait, Millie, I feel like I have so much to apologize for, but also I told Belle about Tamara and she just went and posted it on her Insta and I've been feeling really sick about it. Yeah, I saw. I was at the morgue at the same time. Airports have morgues. Who knew? I'm sorry, Millie. Why? It was so thoughtful of Belle, having never met my mother, to inveigle herself in all of this drama. Chanel's heart is already in her throat, and Belle's voice causes it to jump even higher. She tries to cover her speaker, but it's too late. Mila had heard Belle on the other end of the phone. Look, she's so sweet. Breast cancer. I told her that she can come to the launch. Make note of it, okay? And it's after Mila hangs up on Chanel after hearing what Belle was saying, which forces Chanel to make up her mind. That was it. Tipping point, smack in the face, whatever you want to call it. I was done. She started doing her research on how to stage an intervention for a narcissist like Belle. She practices how to ask Belle if she really does have brain cancer. And when she feels ready, she rings Belle's doorbell. But what greets her at the door isn't something she expected. Belle is all smiles, holding a glass of wine as she engulfs Chanel in a hug. Before Chanel can say a word, she gets dragged into the kitchen where Belle rolls up both of her sleeves and shows off the tattoo that she got in the few days that she didn't see Chanel. So for context, Chanel has a tattoo on the inside of her forearm, and now Belle has basically gotten the exact same tattoo. Chanel looks like she needs to sit down, but she takes a deep breath, storms over to the dining table, telling Belle she needs to sit down. Belle, I'm here tonight to ask you, do you have brain cancer? And Belle reacted about as dramatically as you would expect. A river of tears. Why are you doing this? Why are you being so mean to me? Hey, Belle, this is your inner circle, okay? You are safe here. This is where it begins and where it can end. I thought Mila was your inner circle. Yeah, well, I mean, Mila's also my friend, but you can have as many as you want. I've heard her cancer's back. No, actually, it's not. Where did you hear that? Have you two fallen out? I feel bad if it was my fault. Her follower numbers. No, Mila's not insecure like that. You said she was the most competitive person you've ever met in that laneway bar where we drank a bucket of mojitos. Her eating disorder in year 10, she was almost hospitalized because she had to be the thinnest. Do you have brain cancer, Belle? Just show me one single piece of medical evidence. One scan, one scribbled note from an oncologist, and I'll leave it alone. I'll never bring it up. I threw it out. I don't want that energy in my house. Who diagnosed you, Belle? Why attack me? It's like I had a seizure and now everybody hates me. Which doctors, Belle? Let's get them on the phone. You've met Dr. Phil, Chanel, and that pisses Chanel off. Dr. Phil is the fakest fucking doctor she has ever seen. That man doesn't wear shoes, for crying out loud. And at this point, Chanel is quite literally crying out loud. Belle tells her to lower her voice because Clive is putting her son to sleep, and Chanel takes that and runs with it. You know what? Let's get him up here. Clive had actually been listening to this whole altercation from upstairs, but the moment Chanel starts running up the stairs, the man goes and hides in the bathroom. Chanel starts banging on the door with him to come out and come downstairs, but Belle is using this chance downstairs to grab her phone to call Jules. Just to jog everybody's memories, Jules is the publisher of Belle's recipe book, and the reason she's calling Jules is basically to tell her that there's this really jealous friend going around spreading all of these rumors about how Belle doesn't actually have cancer. She sounds so freaking desperate as she's saying this, and I kind of got the feeling that if Belle had just kind of stayed quiet and not made this call to Jules would have just brushed the rumors away as just that, rumors. But this call is probably gonna raise Jules's eyebrows even more. Anyway, Belle frantically ends the call when Chanel comes back down with Clive in tow. Okay, Clive, can you please join us in the living room? Can I just get some water? No, please join us in the living room right now. Belle, you too, come on. Okay, right. So look, I'm not a parent, but I really believe that your son deserves to know that his mother isn't dying. And Clive agrees with me. Don't you, Clive? Yeah, generally, Yep, so we are all going to go to the hospital. We already went after my seizure, Chanel. But Clive's expression changes and he lets out a little, well, which sets Chanel's radar off. What does well mean, Clive? But Belle just bulldozes through the both of them. We already went to the hospital and we decided I don't have time to get into another medical team when I just want to enjoy the time I have left with my family. I shouldn't have to confirm or deny like the paparazzi following Lindsay Lohan around when she had her miscarriage. Her pregnancy is no one's business but her own. You know what, babe? I actually completely agree with you. You are a really good person. You are, and I see how big your heart is. And if I didn't believe that, then look, I wouldn't be here. I'd be talking to the media. And after Chanel lets those words out, you can feel the shift in the atmosphere. Belle shoots a look like she's about to kill Chanel. And I think Clive can feel the air turning a little murderous, so he tries to intervene. But Belle holds up her hand when she sees him getting closer. I need a peppermint tea and some snacks. Can you please? Clive leaves the room and Chanel speaks up again. Belle, hey, I know you want to do the right thing, and honestly, babe, you can survive this. It's just, I get it. It's snowballed. It's gotten out of control. That's not what happened. I'm just so tired all the time. Hey, maybe this will be a bit of relief. You really think so? Would you be there? Oh my God, of course I'd be there. You just gotta make sure you cancel the book, No launch, tell Apple you're off the watch. I don't know if that's possible, but I can try, right? You'll stop hating me? I don't hate you, Belle. Promise? Yeah, I promise. And with that, Belle goes to take a long shower. She's mulling over everything, wondering if this really is the end of the empire that she's built. She turns off her shower, wraps a towel around her body, and sits in the middle of her bed in front of her laptop. It takes a moment for her to start typing, but slowly she starts typing out a message. To my beautiful, game-changing community, with an ache in my heart, I find space tonight to let you know I was tragically misdiagnosed. She stops typing, hits delete a few times, and continues. To let you know, I have recently been diagnosed with a third and a fourth cancer. I now have cancer in my brain, liver, spleen, uterus, and blood. And so, with so much love in my heart, I must hand the work over to everyone else at the TWP so they can carry on our collective message. Although I am hurting, I am still reading, listening, and learning from each of you. Let us grow our philosophy of living, #the whole life, as we work towards releasing our first book. Yay! And to ensure the legacies of our charity and our community work continue hundreds of years into the future. For the next month, I'll be donating 95% of all earnings to Asylum Seeker Resource Center, the Bhumi Sehat Foundation, One Girl Foundation, and the Hunter Cross and the Cross family for a life-saving surgery. Thank you for all of your support. It means the world. But please don't carry my pain. I've got this. Love, Belle. And she hits send. The post not only stops Chanel in her tracks while she's on her way home, it causes the veins in Clive's head to bulge and Jules to leave her guests and to take a moment to digest the entire post. After dropping that bombshell, Belle dresses up and gets into bed with Clive like nothing's changed. She's freaking delusional. When Mila sees the post the next morning, she explodes while shoving her phone in Arlo's face. It has 90,000 likes. She doesn't even have spleen cancer. The pink balloons, she took that from my radical self-love. If I call her out, people would have to listen, right? I should have done this ages ago. Mills, I don't know. I don't think it's like you. I don't care if I look petty. She can't keep lying. It's too dangerous. But regardless, she takes a second to mull it over. She drinks one of her glasses of juice as memories of her mom take over her mind. Another glass as she remembers how she forced her mom to juice. Another glass as she remembers watching the beautiful sunset with her mom. This poor girl is drowning in guilt, and she just doesn't know how to deal with it. She's sitting outside staring off into space when she makes up her mind. She pulls out her phone and calls Belle. Belle picks up all nervous, but the moment Belle's face shows up on screen, Mila lowers her camera. Hi. Mila? Is this a bum dial? Mila takes a breath before lifting her camera again. Belle smiles. Oh, hi. I'm so sorry about your mom. I'm sorry to hear about your cancers. Oh, Thanks. I'll probably have to step away from the whole pantry, but you're out there doing such good work in this space. How are your symptoms this time, Belle? I might try Hirsch again, maybe even go to the clinic. I'd love your advice on that, actually. Yeah, maybe we can go together, share a room. You can help me with my enemas. I don't know, once you take away all your shit, what's left? And of course, that rubs Belle the wrong way, so she responds in kind. Maybe you should go regardless. I've heard your arm is just riddled. That's what the internet says. There's a horrible thread on Reddit. Have you seen the video? People are awful. And obviously, Mila doesn't like that, but she doesn't have a comeback, so she hangs up instead. But a couple seconds later, she gets a text from Belle. Thought you should see it. XX Belle. Attached is a video of Mila's outburst while she was on the road trying to sell her drinks, but in the video they zoomed in on Mila's bandaged arm and circled a lump that was visible underneath, and the comments under the video are brutal. Oh my god, that blob is hideous. She needs a doctor ASAP. Didn't her mom die of cancer? Can't stand the entitlement. She's the one dishing out false advertising. Organic diet freaks. Fucking influencers. Get a grip, seriously. Having cancer doesn't give you the right to be rude. Can't stand the entitlement. Unfollow, block, delete. She needs to see a doctor. Watch this bitch have a meltdown over her fucking veggie burger. She won't live long. She's really losing it. What a psycho, shameful behavior. I heard her arm is riddled with it. The cancer is out of control. Cancer must have spread to her brain. How many people will she kill with fake medicine? Mila looks like she's on the brink of a full meltdown as she gets into her van and starts driving. The comments haunt her all the way to her dad's house. Her breathing is heavy as she turns off the engine, and you can tell that she just needs some support. She enters her dad's place, calling out to him, and she finds him in the laundry room, fussing over the pipes underneath the sink. She timidly enters the room and asks her dad to look at her. When his eyes turn to her, she drops her cardigan and starts unwrapping her bandages. Tears start rolling down her face as she apologizes to her dad. She hates herself for being the reason that her mom died. She doesn't understand why her mom ever listened to her. And through this whole thing, her poor dad realizes that he's losing his whole family to cancer. He hugs her close as Mila finally voices her fear. She doesn't want to die. Meanwhile, Belle is sitting in front of Jules trying to figure out the best way to bring up a change that she wants to make to the book. She takes a sip of her tea. I keep looking at it in every which way, and objectively I think the book is just stronger without the cancer element. It's just so much more inclusive. I mean, you don't have to have cancer to want to be well. I'm sick of the cancer. Let's just change the story. It's just been swirling around lately. I couldn't keep lying to everyone that things are okay when my body's under attack. I know the post has implications for the book pragmatically in an optic sense. The recipes haven't healed my cancer. I'm sicker than ever, which is a problem. That's why I want to take the cancer out altogether. Jules presses her lips together and turns to her assistant. Poe, do you want to see if they're ready for us down at the cave? No, let her stay. Poe, I'd love your opinion. What if we call it the whole pantry by the whole pantry? Just take my name off of it. I don't need the ego thing. And at this point, Jewel feels the need to remind Belle what they're trying to do here. Look, let's remember, we don't buy cookbooks for the recipes. We buy them for the story. And the whole pantry, it tells a tale of transformation and hope. And you are a young single mother who has beaten cancer. But I didn't. It's back. Well, you did for a bit, and now you're fighting it holistically and courageously. You're not a finished story, and that's okay. We can say that. And this moment actually kind of sucks. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, yes, Belle is finally trying to do something to fix the narrative. I know it's not coming from a good place. Like, she's not trying to do it to be a better person. She's simply realized that she's dug her hole a little bit too deep and is now trying to claw her way out. But regardless, she's trying to stop what would be the spread of fake medical advice, which is so much better than anything she's done in the past, really. But as life goes, the one time she tries to be better, she cannot. Jules pushes ahead with the cancer narrative. She takes Belle and puts her behind a camera. They're doing what I think is like a camera test, like giving Belle media training, basically. She's in this completely dark room with one very intense light shining on her. Jules is sitting in front of her with two people flanking her. With the release of the book, there's there's gonna be a lot of scrutiny on Belle. Investigative journalists are gonna start like digging up every little detail, and the publishing company needs to make sure Belle won't damage their image. So they've done some digging of their own. This is Michael. It's a friend of mine. Amateur sleuth, loves a deep Google. I've asked him to compile everything he can about you, anything on the public record. We want to be prepared. So what I'm going to do is fire off a whole lot of questions. Some you won't like, but that's okay. It's just us. We're going to help you figure out what to say, okay? Belle starts fidgeting in her seat. Her lips are getting dry as Jules starts the questioning. All right, so let's start with the basics. Okay, my favorite color is blue. I'm a Libra sun, Capricorn rising. All right, so how old are you? Turning 26. And so you were born 8th of October, 1988, not 1991? Because Michael says sometimes there's a funny discrepancy. Oh, I know, they printed it wrong once and then, it gets reprinted. Yeah, so you grew up in Brisbane, and what suburb was that? I don't feel comfortable. My mom still lives there. I wanted to ask you about your mom, Natalie. She's a single mom with her own health issues. She did her best. Was it an abusive situation? I mean, you ran away when you were 12 years old. I've never said that. Oh, Michael here found it on Facebook. So did you run away? What happened? I moved out. That's a completely different story. 12 years old. My God, Belle, that's too young to look after yourself. Just to get back at your mom, just to clarify. So it wasn't like you ran away in the middle of the night or something like that. Oh, no, not at all. Mom was in like a depressive cycle. I just needed some distance. Who did you live with? The usual, look around for girlfriends from school at first, and then my supervisor at work. While Belle is answering all of these questions, we get snapshots of what actually happened that night in middle school where she pretended to have like heart failure. She was rushed to the hospitals, but the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her. At home, Belle tells her mom that the hospital told her that she needs a heart surgery. Her mom, however, just laughs her off because Belle doesn't look sick to her. At this point in time, Belle kind of just feels like a little girl asking for some love and attention from her mom. When she realizes that her mom could give two shits about her, though, she packs all of her clothes into a trash bag and heads over to her boss's house. And while they never explicitly state this, I don't think this was a normal relationship. There was most likely some predatory stuff going on here. He not only let her into his house, but some of the pictures they took seem to lean a little bit more on the side of this man probably should also be locked up. Anyway, Jules wants to know his name, in case anybody ever asks. And Belle's thoughts to that are, no, I've already given you a trauma origin story, brain cancer. You don't need this. Why do you want it anyway? That's so disgusting when I told you it's off limits. But instead, she answers in a PR-friendly way. That's like not important or interesting. It's a micro detail of a whole nother part of my private life. I mean, I'm more than happy to like deflect and just like, sorry, that's not relevant to my current situation, and all of those sorts of questions. We frame the narrative, not them. Yeah, I just don't think that's quite gonna cut it with the tabloids, but yeah, let's just keep going. And you can tell that Jules is off put by Belle's answer, and that Belle can sense it too. The entire media training session sends Jules's mind racing, and when Belle wants to leave because of her migraine that's getting worse, Jules lets out a long sigh and just lets her go. During the car ride home, Belle is freaking out. Jules probably doesn't believe her anymore. Mila has it out for her, and Hunter's fundraiser is at $59,000. But Belle doesn't actually have any of that money. Meanwhile, Mila is back in a regular schmegular hospital. Her old oncologist is looking at the bumps on her arm. He, of course, gives her the meanest look he can muster when he learns that she'd been treating the bumps with black salve, but it's during the debrief that everything comes crashing down. The sarcoma I identified in your right forearm 5 years ago has metastasized via the lymph nodes. It's here in your right lung and in the rib, scrotum, and the left femur. Mila stays silent for once in her life and lets her dad speak. Okay, so what do we do now? So it's some radiation, chemotherapy. I mean, you're the boss. Is there an experimental trials, the immunotherapies? Unfortunately, Mila is no longer eligible for those trials. She may have been once. That is no longer the case. I am very sorry. What does that mean? You mean what? She's not worthy of a trial? She's 28 years of age. It's too far progressed, sir. I'm gonna refer you to a good palliative care specialist up your way and a counselor. Obviously, you're not there yet, but it might feel comforting to be prepared. How long am I here for? I would say under 3 months as a guess. 3 months. Mila's dad, in a short 3 months, is going to lose everyone he's ever cared about. So it's justified when he blows up. You know what? Fuck 3 months, right? My daughter has come here for help and you're going to help her. You doctors sit there like you're fucking gods. Be a god and move a fucking mountain. I mean, what is this? You tell me. Is this you're punishing her because she didn't listen to you in the first place? Joe, it's medicine. It doesn't have personal opinions. Your daughter has a cancer that has spread, and I'm sorry, but it is killing her very quickly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you can save her, please just save her, please. It's absolutely heartbreaking as we see Mila try to calm down her dad. She gets it. She had her chance and she fucked it up. While Mila deals with her cancer, Belle is busy with her book launch. The event seems to be a pretty big success. Everyone has a little glass of champagne in their hands. Some are looking through the recipe book. Surprisingly, Chanel is there taking photos of the room and Jules is in deep thought. She's thinking back to the media training interview. So let's just fast forward to Melbourne. All right, you've had your stroke, had your cancer diagnosis, and you're at which hospital? Peter MacCallum Cancer Center. Do you think your oncologist would be happy to do some articles or do some press with us? I don't think so, because I left his treatment plan. He didn't like that. They're so territorial. Well, that's fine. We can use the written medical records. Got them handy? Absolutely. Some of them were at my mom's place, so it might take a minute to unearth. She's a bit of a hoarder, actually. The commotion in the room breaks Jules out of her memories. Belle has arrived, and she is shocked to see Chanel there. Remember that the last time they saw each other, Belle had told her that she would tell everyone she was lying, but instead Belle posted about her 3 more additional cancers, so of course, fearing what Chanel might do, she rushes up to her. Hey, promise you, I swear I asked them to take my name off of it, but they wouldn't let me out of the contract. Hey, Belle, babe, don't worry about it. I'm just here to watch you lie to a whole room of people. The conversation gets interrupted by Jules, who has gotten up on stage to start the program. Hey, hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. Let's get this show started, shall we? It's so lovely to see all of you here. For those of you who don't know, my name is Julie Gibbs, and I'm the director of Penguin Lifestyle in Print Lantern. And I'd like to welcome onto the stage the young woman of the moment. She's a mother, she's a cancer survivor, she is an entrepreneur, and now she's an author. Belle Gibson. Belle rushes up onto the stage, all smiles. Oh, thank you so much. Wow, this is a privilege. I can't believe I'm standing here before all of you. I want to thank my mom and my partner Clive and my beautiful son. Of course, my besties. You have always had my back. I don't take that for granted. I couldn't let this moment pass without paying my respects to my friend and mentor, Mila. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight for reasons that I'm sure you all understand, but I know this has brought her comfort. And if this speech feels familiar, it's because we already saw the scene in episode 1. As we all know from the first episode, Chanel storms out with a copy of Belle's book in hand and makes a call to Mila, who asks her to destroy Belle. But this time we see what's going on inside while Chanel was outside. Belle has pulled out a little index card and has started reading quotes from Mila's blog posts. I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath. Scared to rock the boat and make a mess. I let you push me past my breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. But at the end of those words, nobody has a reaction. The room is silent and all you can hear is a woman cough. So Belle switches tactics. She breaks out into a song. More specifically, she breaks out into the song The Eye of the Tiger by Katy Perry. At first, everyone looks at her like she's a little insane, but when Belle nails the main part of the song, you can't help but be impressed. The audience breaks out in applause, and outside, Chanel is asking Mila what to do. Just tell me, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I want to destroy her, Chanel. Wait, I don't know if I mean that. Hang on. Arlo brought home a kitten. Mila is currently laying on her couch petting her little cat, and she just looks so tired. Her lips have lost their color, her face is sunken in. Really? What's its name? Lila Fowler, because she's beautiful and a little bit mean. She has the best face. You should come and see it. Yeah, I'd love that. What about Belle? Are you sure you don't want me to go to the media, or you know what you need to do? I just don't want to think about it anymore. How are you feeling, Mills? Tired, all the drugs, crazy dreams, and beside Mila's couch are pills that modern medicine had gifted to her to help with the pain. The same medical techniques that she had rejected when she first got diagnosed with cancer. Chanel tears up a little bit. I'm gonna come see you really soon. But the truth is, Chanel could never get herself to go. She tried to book a flight a bunch of times, but every time images of Mila essentially laying in her deathbed stopped her. She'll probably regret it later, but right now, this is the path that she's chosen to take. She's gonna get Belle blasted for her lies. Of course, with the help of Justin. Now, Justin isn't doing so hot. With Lucy gone, he's kind of stopped taking care of himself and their house. In fact, that morning, Sean had come over with a bottle of hot sauce and made the man some scrambled eggs as he lay on the couch scrolling Instagram. Lucy has been pretty active on the site, posting photos of her feeding lambs and whatnot. Justin doesn't look too thrilled about this. I mean, I'm sure he wants her to enjoy life, but at the same time, he knows that the time they have together is precious, and instead of spending it with her, here he is laying on the couch eating the hot sauce scrambled eggs, listening to Sean talk about how he hasn't filed for a story in weeks. And you know, that's actually not even completely true. Justin has filed multiple stories, but the grown-ups don't think that they're good enough because they're always about Belle and her scams. He lets out a big sigh, might take some time off. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Can I tell you about the extremely thoughtful present that I've bought you? Hot sauce for my eggs? I have bought you hot sauce for your eggs. Yes, that is true, but also, hang on. I was looking at these and casseroles. Sean is shoving his phone in with a photo of Belle and Hunter in Justin's face, all excited. Chanel said Belle didn't pass on the frozen food to that poor little dude with cancer, right? Do you think she passed on cold, hard cash to faceless charities? Charity fraud, that can be legal. That can be legal to fuck. And with this angle, they can book Belle without even hinting at her cancer. Justin eagerly starts gathering his things while Sean packs the eggs to go. A little drive later, he ends up in Fiona's house. What can I tell you about Belle? How long have you known her? We met in a hospital, would have been about a year ago now. Was that when you started working together? I wouldn't say we're working together. She offered to raise money for a surgery for Hunter. She's got an online platform. That's generous. Yeah, it's incredible. There's a neurosurgeon, Dr. Teddy Mack. Heard of him? He's on telly. He takes on all the cases no one else will at a cost. $60,000 before the surgery and the other half after. It's impossible. I'm not working. I'm caring full time. The hospital appointments are... I don't know what you've been told about Belle, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Without her help raising money for Hunter, and Justin looks a little saddened by the news that he has for them. You can tell Fiona has put all of her belief into Belle, and it breaks his heart to have to ask, that money, is it in your account? No, because we haven't booked the surgery yet. We agreed that's what it's gonna be used for, so... No. Fiona looks like she's about to break down as she realizes what Justin's expression means. Justin rushes out while on the phone with Sean. Belle hasn't paid that family. Fuck all. Holy shit. Well, I just contacted Consumer Affairs. The whole pantry isn't a registered fundraiser. She could be facing criminal charges. I'll see you back at the office. It's getting exciting. Meanwhile, Belle is smiling at her event, taking photos with people who love her, and I hope she enjoys it because it's going to be the last amount of peace she'll ever get. Her event wraps up and she heads home only to find it completely empty. Clive and her kid are currently at a hot dog restaurant. They're both smiling ear to ear as they stuff their faces with hot dogs that are slathered in ketchup. Next to him, Clive's phone is blowing up with calls from Belle, but honestly, he couldn't be bothered to pick it up. In fact, he's so done with her that when she calls for the umpteenth time, he picks up and then without saying anything, he hangs up. Annoyed, Belle heads over to her grill and pulls out, and I'm not kidding when I say this, she pulls out a box of cigarettes and a bag of chips. The very thing that she's preaching against is her guilty midnight meal. Her face stuffing gets interrupted when her phone beeps. It's a notification from Instagram. Mila posted an update. For the first time in my journey with cancer, I am really unwell. If it was an option, I'd be returning to conventional medicine. But it's not. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I believed it was my fault. It wasn't. I believed it was up to me to cure myself. It wasn't. I thought I could become whole through diet and by listening to my own instincts. But I was wrong. And I'm sorry for not being honest with you. I wasn't being honest with myself. Of course, that post has its fair share of hate comments and scam comments, but here and there are a few people who just wish Mila to stay strong. The next day, Chanel shows up at Mila's house with her suitcase only to find Mila and Arlo chilling out in their bathtub that is oddly in the middle of their backyard. Later that day, they all head to the beach along with Mila's dad, where Mila and Chanel take a seat watching as Arlo and Mila's dad play frisbee. Chanel can't help but smile as she watches Arlo dive to try to catch the frisbee. Arlo and Joe, a love story for the ages. Hey, do you remember in grade 1, that day I wet my pants? I got it all over your homework diary. God, everyone laughed at me and you told them all off. You were fearless at 5. You still are. Mila, who's wrapped up in a blanket, looks at Chanel and starts sobbing. She's so fucking scared. But this is what she did to herself with her own hands. She wipes her tears a couple minutes later as Chanel reaches for the book in Mila's lap. They spend the rest of the evening with Chanel reading to her. Meanwhile, Justin is in a conference room with Sean planning Belle's downfall. Ms. Gibson, please find below a list of 21 questions. We will need your response by 2 p.m. tomorrow. 1. You say a large part of everything the company earns is donated to charities. Which specific charities have received support from the whole pantry? 2. Can you provide tax receipts? 3. Why have you not passed on the charitable donations you publicly promised to the Asylum Seeker Resource Center, the Birthing Kit Foundation, One Girl, the 2H Project, the Cross Family, the Boomy Sehat Foundation, the Schwartz Family? 4. If the funds were never received by these organizations, then for what purpose were they used? 5. And quickly, can you please clarify at which facility you were diagnosed with cancer? 6. What stage was it diagnosed at? 7. What is the precise prognosis? 8. Did you receive chemotherapy and radiation treatment? 9. At which facility? 10. What is the current status of your cancer? 11. What is your age? 12. Can you confirm your full given name? 13. Will you provide information on the hospital you presented at? 15. 16. 18. 21. If not, will you provide us permission to contact your current doctor to verify your health status? We look forward to hearing from you. And this is the email Belle gets as she's sitting on a plane taking a selfie with her face pressed against the airplane window, reading the questions and knowing that her jig is up. She can't help but let out a loud and long fuck. The last episode begins with someone unexpected. I'm an addict, an alcoholic, 15 days sober. This time at least. I've been watching this train wreck of an interview all day. It's a former client, and I started watching it because she's someone who's easy to hate. I mean, she deserves to be hated. The interview he's talking about is Belle's interview. She's in the famed pink turtleneck sweater as she sits in front of a reporter all glammed up. Belle, are you prepared to tell the truth today? Yeah. The whole truth? Absolutely. No half-truths, no gobbledygook. No, I've been really transparent. Belle, You claimed in your book you underwent chemotherapy and radiation for 2 months. True or false? At the time, true or false? True. Heck continues with his little speech. I put it on to distract myself because I woke up this morning feeling pretty sick. My skin hurts and my blood is scratchy, and I know that I need to live with that, I know, but I'm watching this interview instead. The same client, she told me how she looked in the mirror one night and she was covered in ringworm. She said someone on the internet recommended some apple cider vinegar. I don't think it was a medical doctor, and she wanted those ringworms gone, so she chugged it back, chugging it real fast. And then she starts to choke. There's something inside of her. She's got to get it out. And then tapeworm. She swore to me 2 feet long at least. She said the tapeworm was attracted to the vinegar and that it flushed it out, which makes no physical sense at all. Ringworm isn't caused by tapeworm. Ringworm is a fungus. Tapeworm comes out of your ass, not your mouth. But still, is that not magic? Drink a little bit of this stuff and you're all cleansed, pure again. I mean, how hopeful is that? I mean, I'd pay anything to feel just a little bit better. You know, a balm that'll take the edge off, a way to soothe this fucking tragedy of being human. I swear, I'd go out there and buy us all bottles of apple cider vinegar right now. To understand how we got to this place, we need to go back 3 months ago. Belle is rushing down a dirt road in a completely black dress and sunglasses. She's got her phone glued to her ear. Turns out she's trying to call Clive, but he's too busy helping their kid wrap his arm with bandage and probably doesn't care enough to pick up Belle's call. When she gets sent to voicemail, she lets out a little curse before rushing into a building that has Mila's photo at the entrance. She's at Mila's funeral. Arlo is standing up front giving a speech. Thank you all so much for coming today. There's research that says the act of smiling releases endorphins and serotonin, which are these really hectic neural pain relievers. Researchers think smiling helps the body's stress response. I don't need research to tell me that. Mila had the best smile I have ever seen. Felt like holidays and smelled like sunscreen, tasted like mangoes. This was where we were supposed to get married. Anyway, sorry, let's not make it a sad day, yeah? And so this is for Mila, my beautiful smiling girl. Arlo picks up his guitar and starts singing. At the same time, Belle is pushing her way through the crowd. Chanel sees her and almost scoffs in disbelief, but she quickly turns her attention back to Arlo's song. Now let's jump back to earlier in the day. Belle had been deplaning when she got the email from Justin. She tries to call Clive, but he doesn't pick up, so she starts doing what she does best, pulling shit out of her butt. Thanks so much for reaching out. I'm at a funeral today for a dear friend and mentor, so apologies if I'm brief in my response. Financial priority is to still give this monetary support to those organizations we've invested in. To touch on your email, a previous employee was responsible for communications with some of these charities that you've listed, and it is unfortunately not to our surprise that this did not happen. With the benefit of hindsight, we now understand there is a difference in the perceived financial success of the app and the actual net proceeds received. At the same time, she's calling the charities that she'd publicly promised money to. She also blows up at the rental car associate because they got her a diesel car instead of an environmentally friendly one that she asked for. All the while, she's rushing to change and get to Mila's funeral. Now she's sitting in Mila's funeral, freaking out internally while listening to Arlo sing a song. Eventually, she can no longer hold in her feelings and starts sobbing. She's so loud that everyone turns to stare at her. They send off Mila in a car, and I didn't notice this the first time I was watching, but I did while I was making this recap for you guys. Belle is the only one dressed in all black, and that's significant because I'm assuming the invitation to Mila's funeral probably said to avoid wearing all black. So that means Belle wasn't invited. Otherwise, she would have known not to wear all black. And while I'm sure that's not a shocker to anyone else, I'm surprised that no one else is like calling her out on that. Like, people other than Chanel and Arlo. Like, there's no way the general populace at this funeral doesn't find it a little bit strange that she's wearing all black when the invite told them specifically not to. And the idea that Belle probably wasn't sent an invite is solidified when she corners this poor woman who is using crutches to walk. I would have thought she'd be cremated. Oh, I think they're gonna put her next to her mom. How do you know Mila? We actually met at a wellness retreat when she was first diagnosed, but truth to be told, we didn't even get along very well. But she reached out later. Oh, did she? Are you going to the wake? I can drive you if you don't mind the hideous car that I seem to have hired. Really? I was just gonna get a taxi. Oh, no, of course, please. Do you have the address? I've been there like 100 times, but I'm geographically useless. It's part of the brain thing. Meanwhile, back with Justin, he's sitting in the meeting room listening to one of his coworkers, Emily, babble on about this article idea that she has. It's International Women's Day on Sunday. I've got a profile on a woman with cerebral palsy. Her gym teacher bet her that she couldn't walk 500K on her crutches, and she proved them wrong and raised $15,000 for a village in Botswana. Justin can't help but scoff at this, and I want to say he's scoffing because he sees resemblances between this story and Belle's, but it's a scoff that rightfully rubs his coworker and his boss the wrong way. So his boss turns to him, and where are you two with your Belle Gibson? I need it for the weekend. Sean answers for him with a huge smile on his face. Well, we've sent off an email and she's already written back. Has she? Yeah, panicking all over the place with the finances. Hasn't touched any of the health questions yet. He's not smiling. Justin gives his boss a deadpan look. On the inside, I am. I'm still trying to find her partner, Clive Rothwell. I can get him to speak about the health angle if he would just answer his phone. Emily interrupts him this time. We should be careful. It's International Women's Day and you're tearing down a young woman in business. You don't think young women should be held accountable? And freaking Emily, has to say that she thinks his smug is showing. Justin storms off because no, he's not smug about this. This is an issue that's wreaking havoc in his life. Sean educates Emily of Justin's wife's situation while Justin is outside smoking a cigarette and looking up Clive on Facebook. And on Clive's Facebook profile, he finds Linda, Clive's mom. He gets her phone number and gives her a call. Hey, Linda, how are you today? This is Justin. I'm a journalist with The Age. Is your son Clive Rothwell? Why? What's happened to Clive? Nothing. I'm sure he's fine. I'm writing an article on your daughter-in-law, Belle Gibson, CEO and founder of The Whole Pantry. I'm investigating claims Belle has been faking her brain cancer diagnosis, and she's been instructing people who are really sick, who really do have cancer, how to... But he can't finish that sentence as images of Lucy leaving him start running through his head. Eventually, he takes a deep breath and starts again. I hear your husband's unwell. Can I ask how you'd feel if he started taking his advice from someone like Belle? Of course you can ask. I believe you mean may ask. You are a journalist after all. May I ask how you'd feel? No comment. And she hangs up the phone. Another dead end for our boy, Justin. Back at Mila's funeral, Belle is standing in the kitchen looking at the photo memorial in front of her while still thinking about the 21 questions that Justin sent her. She gets jolted out of her stupor when someone asks her where the wine glasses are. She heads over to a cabinet with confidence, basically trying to pretend like she knows the place like the back of her hand. But when she opens it, it was just some plates. Somebody else finds them in the cupboard in the opposite direction of where Belle is standing. After that failure, she tries to involve herself in some food prep, but from the window, Chanel catches her eyes. Swallowing, Belle steps out into the yard. Hey, babe, have you seen Arlo? We're out of ice. I have to approve the watch promo stuff at 3 if you want to be a part of it. She hated you. She didn't hate anyone, Belle, but she hated you. Why are you here? But instead of answering, she says something about needing to report back. She gets in her car and starts driving when Fiona's millionth call comes through. She ends it only for another call to come through. Realizing that Fiona isn't gonna leave her alone, Belle pulls into this place that has this gigantic ice freezer and picks up the call. Fee, I'm actually at a funeral right now. Oh, Belle, I'm so sorry. Is it someone close? Very. I might have to call you back. I don't want to keep you. I wanted to let you know that we saw Teddy Mack in Sydney and he agreed to take Hunter as a patient. Oh, Wow, that's so good. I did email you a couple of times. Did you? Oh, yeah, it's just been super crazy. Sure. Just look, he needs the 60K now as a deposit. Oh, that's ludicrous. Are they surgeons or vultures? I know, and it wouldn't be remotely possible without your incredible generosity raising all of that money for Hunter. We are so grateful. Yeah, when do you need it? There's a cash flow. Sorry? What do you mean cash flow? That money was raised for Hunter, Belle, for his surgery. It should just be in your account. Fiona, have you been speaking to journalists? It's okay if you have. You just need to tell me what you've told them. Please don't lie to me. No, sorry. What journalists? I haven't spoken to anyone. We've been in Sydney. Hey, Fiona, Dr. Mac, I've heard some things. He's a real cowboy. And Fiona looks like she's on the brink of a breakdown. No, Belle, he just gets like that because he takes on the tough cases. You know what, Fee? Let me get into it. I've got to call a few people. I want to get their take on it. Belle, please, we are really happy with our decision, okay? We've done our research, spoken to people. I'm gonna call you back with more intel. Love to the boys, yeah? Okay, bye. Belle, just... But it's too late. Belle cuts the call and immediately blocks her contact. She turns around to pick up two of the ice bags, but as she takes one, Mila's dead face pops up before her eyes. Personally, I found it a bit weird that Mila's death is haunting Belle so much, but it is. She curses up a storm as she hauls two bags of ice out of the freezer. At the same time, back at Belle's house, Clive is going off on the phone. This is Clive Rothwell speaking. My parents are in their late 70s and infirm and more than a little upset right now. If you continue to harass them, I'll be taking legal action. I'm so sorry about that, Clive. I'm really glad that you've called back. Clive, I've been trying to reach you. I wasn't sure if I had the right number. Yeah, well, I believe you sent Belle some questions this morning. She's traveling. I'm sure she'll respond to those in due course, yeah? Clive, I actually wanted to ask you a few questions. Oh, no, I have no comment. You know, right? Did you always know, or did she lie to you too at first? Look, mate, if she's not well mentally, you're standing by her. I don't want to shit on that. These aren't just a few lies. She's hurting people, mate. But you already know that. Maybe you want to meet up? Off the record. I'm busy today. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., I'll be at the Organic Cafe in Elwood. It's on the corner. Ah, you know where we live, huh? Not to be an asshole, but we know a lot. Like, we know the whole pantry ABN is registered to your old address. We know all the payments made to the app developers, the photographers, all outlays, all expenses were paid by you using your credit card. You think she's done that to mitigate her accountability? We are publishing the fraud story today, so if you wanna, don't call my parents again. And Clive hangs up. Meanwhile, at the funeral, Belle is back with two bags of ice, and she's walking in when she sees Mila's dad sitting off to the side drinking some beer. She stops walking and just stares at him like she's haunted to see him there. Her stare, however, gets interrupted by Mila's cat. It's rubbing its face on Belle's leg. Belle picks up the cat and is startled when she hears Mila's dad's voice. Just be careful with her, love. She's had a bit of ringworm. She's just missing her mom. Mila's dad doesn't know who Belle is or what she meant to Mila. Belle puts the cat down and smiles before picking up her ice bags and going inside. Inside, the scene is a little bit strange and heartbreaking at the same time. While Belle is emptying the ice bags into a cooler filled with beer, everyone else is gathered around singing the song My Kind of Scene. I don't know this song personally, but from the glimpse that we do get of it, it's a very happy song. Quite a few of the people singing it do seem like they are genuinely enjoying themselves. For what it's worth though, Chanel, while she does have a smile on her lips, she also has tears rolling down her cheeks. And Arlo isn't singing at all. Instead, he's downing beer after beer. After she's done her duty of filling up the ice, Belle makes her way into Mila's room. Guys, I don't know what to say about Belle at this point. Like, who goes to a funeral they weren't even invited to, and while knowing that this person hated you, you have the audacity to roam around and touch that person's personal belongings? Belle is insane. Anyway, in the bedroom, she's going around looking at all the photos that Mila's got on her wall. She also sees the numerous trophies and certificates of achievements that Mila's gotten over her younger years. She even goes into Mila's closet and pulls out her 2004 college sweater, which was signed by a bunch of people. Her trespassing eventually gets interrupted when Arlo bursts into the room and flops face first into Mila's bed, sniffling. Bella is startled. I was just looking for somewhere quiet as a place to... Are you okay? That was a stupid question. She goes to sit on the bed next to Arlo before starting to speak again. You know, you can die of grief. Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. You should take care of yourself right now. She pats Arlo on the back, and then she notices that his fist is clenched around something. She manages to get it from him, and when she sees what it is, she smiles. I remember when you gave her this. Her face when she told me about you, and she was falling in love and so excited. I don't know how to, now that she's gone, if she couldn't beat this, what hope do the rest of us have? I'm worried about how this is going to affect the community. Have you had any time to think about Mila's followers? If you need any help with that. While Belle is giving her elaborate speech, Arlo has managed to sit up and look right at her as he interrupts. She didn't tell you about the stone. You read it in her blog. It's the name of the blog. No, she told me. Or maybe she wrote about it. I can't remember. It's Belle, isn't it? Yeah, she talked about you. She did? Yeah, you gave her the creeps. No, what? Did Chanel tell you that? Because it's not accurate. I mean, we were competitive at times, but in the end, what are you doing in her room? I needed a quiet, I have a call with Apple. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Arlo. She goes over and tries to hug him, but the man loses it. He pushes her away from him, grabs her by the elbow, and drags her out of Mila's room and throws her out of the house. Belle turns away, crying so loudly that she attracts the attention of everyone outside, including Chanel's and Mila's fathers. Mila's dad, still not knowing who Belle is, looks concerned. You all right? Hey, are you all right? Are you all right to drive, love? I just wanted to say she was so lucky to be so loved. You did a good job, okay? She then gets into her car and starts backing up when Chanel comes up in front, somewhat tipsy. Oi, Belle, babe, hey. I lied. I actually hate you too. Belle lets out another sob before hitting the road, and eventually she stops at a hotel, gets a room, raids the snack cabinet of her room for chips, soda, and the likes before sitting down in front of her laptop. She opens up Google and types Belle Gibson, the age. And there it is, the article Justin said that he was going to publish. Belle starts freaking out as she reads it, but Justin is eagerly awaiting for the reactions. He sends the article to Chanel and then to Lucy. Chanel heads into her room to read the article, and when she's done, she is appalled. Of course, that means Justin's phone rings. Hello, hi, quick question. What the fuck is this? It's a couple of paragraphs. It doesn't even say anything about cancer. She looks dodgy as fuck, Chanel. It's accounting, Justin. Blah, blah, blah. They're gonna defend her. And true to Chanel's words, the first couple of comments are expressing their distaste for the company. Disappointed, not surprised by this media outlet. Meanwhile, Belle is trying her best to put together a damage control post. This morning, journalists from The Age contacted Belle, our previous managing director, who has stepped back to concentrate on her health journey. Belle took the time to address their incorrect claims. However, the two journalists decided to run with the story without correcting multiple hurtful factual errors. She's stuck when all of a sudden she hears a voice next to her. Call them male journalists. Belle is shocked as she turns to see Mila sitting on the bed next to her, looking at her laptop screen. Two male journalists. How's your head, by the way? I think it's a migraine. Oh, you poor thing. Can I? When Belle nods, Mila takes Belle's laptop and starts typing. The whole pantry's new business management team are working through the task of bringing the accounts up to date. All charities are aware of our intentions to uphold this financial support while the necessary keepings of the business are finalized. Corporate media have, in this instance, chosen to omit critical information. We appreciate your support and continue to put our community first as we find our footing again. With love, the whole pantry. Belle is beaming by the end of the message. Her and the Mila in her head make an amazing team. With the message posted, there's even more support for Belle and even more negativity sent Justin's way. You mean the world to me. You make my heart smile. I'm so grateful for this community. Love you. Such negativity. You are a goddess and you will transcend. This is nothing but mean-spirited clickbait for the mainstream media. I've met this woman and she's kind and she's brave and she really has been through a lot. Go forth, Belle. We should have a play date soon. Fake news. Keep doing what you're doing, Belle. Don't listen to the noise. Keep shining. Ignore the haters. Stay true to your inner light. Don't believe the MSM. Hashtag stop cyberbullying and hashtag Belle. Those two hashtags start trending on Twitter, and by this time, both Belle and Mila are jumping up and down on their bed in joy. But then Mila points out a dark bruise on Belle's face. Ouch, that looks like ringworm. While Belle is in the bathroom looking at the ringworm that's now on her face, her first negative comment flows in. Justin is quick to read it out loud for Sean to hear. Appalling, and I mean your organization, not the media. Money for charity does not go into cash flow. That is beyond unethical. When Belle reads this, she starts to lose it again and Mila calms her down. It's okay. It's okay. Hug your haters. A customer you ignore is a customer you lose. Yeah? Hug your haters. Thank you so much for your interest. We acknowledge our execution has been flawed at times. We are still a young business and still learning. But it's not enough because soon enough there's another negative comment. This is nothing short of common thievery, and I look forward to seeing justice in due course. And then there's another. But this one is special because this is a comment from Lenny, the photographer Belle knew in middle school and then later hired to shoot her food pics and never paid him a cent for the work. That Lenny leaves a comment saying, enriching yourself by falsely pretending to help others in need? Stay classy, Belle. Belle once again tries to respond, but it's a too little, too late kind of situation now. The positive comments are overshadowed by the negative, and it's getting hard for the con artist to breathe. She's desperately calling out to Mila. Mila, Mills, what do I do? What do I do? But instead of answering, Mila stares out the window at the storm that's taken over the night. Belle starts spiraling even more with the lack of support from her imaginary Mila, and she starts deleting comments. Now, I'm no PR person, but really? Isn't it like social media 101 that you do not delete comments because that normally just proves that those comments are right? Anyway, of course, people start noticing her deleting spree. There's one comment that particularly sticks out to most people, and it reads, okay, I'm sorry if this is out of line, but is it just me or is anyone else wondering if she lied about the money? What else has she lied about? And all the way in Peru, this comment sticks out to Lucy as well. And all she can think about is the numerous times her husband tried to warn her that Belle was a fake. So Lucy starts a little fire of her own. Underneath her husband's article, she writes, does she have cancer? Has that ever officially been verified? That comment racks up over 400 likes, but those are not what's important to me. What I love about this scene is that Justin's expression when he reads his wife's comment, he looks so proud that Lucy is doing this, and to be completely honest, I started tearing up a little bit here. Lucy is finally coming back to her senses, all because her husband never gave up on her. By the next morning, Belle's ringworm has spread all over her face, just like all the comments that are calling her mentally ill have. Clive has agreed to meet with Justin for no other reason than to do what is right by his child, and Julie is in a conference room with the entire board of directors listening to a recording that she has on Belle's supposed treatment plan. I don't know how I'll talk about this because I haven't really spoken about it publicly. Okay, so I'm following a Russian-German medicine protocol. Every single medical practitioner who knows about it or doesn't is seeing results. How do you take the medicine, Belle? It's a machine, an electronic pulse, and it pushes medicine into my cells when that machine is operating on a program. And where there is DNA damage in my cells, I'm gonna need to do more reading on this. Just one line, that'll be fine. Right. And it could be, I still do regular check-ins with my oncologist, and all of the other modalities that I've respected throughout my journey and have, taken on a European cancer protocol as well. And I feel like any normal person could tell from this interview that Belle was spouting bullshit. None of this makes any sense at all. And the board of directors are appalled that Jules still went and published the book, all while having access to this disastrous test interview. Trying to do damage control, Jules gets up in front of everyone. Her story is like, it's an extract at the front. It's a book of recipes. Look, we just put out a response. We're concerned about the issues that are raised and are seeking an explanation from Belle Gibson. And then, pending a satisfactory response to our questions, we are considering our options regarding our commercial interests with Miss Gibson. And then, Penguin Books wishes to advise that it has withdrawn the whole pantry from sales indefinitely. This is a regrettable decision, but necessary. We distance ourselves. We just play it out. She refuses to let the board use this to gut her cookbook label. Meanwhile, Belle is on the plane trying to reach Clive. Hi, honey. Good news. I found a flight to San Francisco via Sydney, via Hawaii. Yay me. Everyone at Apple is in my corner. Had a few emails overnight, all very supportive. It'll be nice to see some decent humans who actually give a shit about me. I'll be FaceTiming my son when I land. Please put him on the phone. While Belle is busy missing her child, Fiona is in tears while on the phone with Justin. I think she blocked her number. I can't get through. She's not returning any of my calls. I know it's not your responsibility, but if you happen to find any of that money, yeah, of course, I'm going to stay on top of it. There's going to be a criminal investigation at some stage. We didn't want handouts. I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but have you considered maybe a bank loan or a mortgage? We're renting. I need to know if I have to cancel the surgery. I have to cancel it, don't I? That money's not coming back. And that's the reality that Belle has created for Fiona. In my small, humble opinion, that's one of the worst things you can do to someone. I feel like it's 10 times worse to give someone hope and then take it away versus never have given them any hope at all. This is weighing heavily on Justin's mind as he goes to meet up with Clive. He's finally going to figure out this enigma that is Clive. Why did he choose to stay with Belle for so long despite knowing that she was lying straight to his face? But Clive doesn't show. Instead, he's bought his kid to see his biological father, who greets him in a basketball court with a scooter. While the boy goes to play, Clive and Nathan get talking. Man, I reckon there's a world where with everything that's happening, you could go full custody. I contacted a family law firm who thinks that there's a strong case. We could prove that she's an unfit mother. Jesus, that's dark, man. She'd lose her shit. But I'm working nights, Clive. I don't know if full-time. I could help with that. I could help with financially, with like books, pickups, soccer, sick days. Honestly, no problem. What, we'd be like co-parents? I don't know how Sarah, have you met her? I don't know how she'd feel about a full-on stepmommy situation. She loves him, and I know this, but just to paint a picture, we got tickets to Coachella. Do you know what I mean? She wants to spend time there. Her sister's in Nevada, so I don't know. Is it better for him? Belle's a good mom, man. She loves him. And I don't know. To me, this just sounds more like Nathan doesn't want the responsibility of taking care of a kid. Sure, I agree that Belle loves her kid, but she's the textbook definition of an unfit mother. She spends way little time with her kid, takes him to doctors that are suspicious as hell, and locks him in his room when he's being too difficult. But the thing is, if Nathan doesn't want full custody and Belle gets put behind bars, Clive will never get to see his kid again because, like Belle so graciously pointed out one night, Clive isn't on his birth certificate. He legally has no right to Belle's kid, so he backtracks on his agreement to meet up with Justin. Belle, at the same time, is making her way through Apple HQ when a security guard catches her. "Excuse me, miss, do you have a pass?" "Oh, I work here. I have my pass. I'm on the watch. I'm the only Australian on it. I just flew 16 hours, so could you please call?" And then she takes off running. She really thought she could outrun a trained security guard. She gets tackled to the ground and sent right back to Australia. Things get even worse when on the way back to her house, she gets a call from Poe telling her that all of her books will be sent to get pulped, so if she wants a few copies, she needs to go get them ASAP. When she enters her house, her son runs up excitedly and hugs her, but she just pushes him aside, saying she needs to go pee. What she really meant to say was that she needs some space to completely break down. Of course, kids don't really know what the meaning of personal space is, so he follows her upstairs, and the two share a pretty emotional moment where Belle just holds her kid and cries. Downstairs, Clive is on the phone with his mom arguing about something to do with Belle, not realizing that by this point, Belle has come down the stairs and is watching him from the stairwell. When he makes eye contact, he cuts the call. "Did you eat anything on the plane? There's some cold pasta in the fridge." Instead of answering, Belle stares at him for a moment before speaking up. "So what? Are you going?" Where? You've liked it. You've been here the whole time. Fuck this judgment. It's so convenient." Okay, I'm staying, Belle." "Why? Because you love him?" "I love both of you." "You don't love me. You're lying." "I wouldn't lie about something like this." And that seems to satisfy Belle. The two of them end up sitting on their couch munching on pasta while watching TV. But Belle breaks the silence. "Is this gluten-free?" No. Belle shrugs and just continues eating. "I was thinking, this might take a while to kind of shake out, you know? And Melbourne winter, you get so depressed. What do you think about a reset? It doesn't have to be forever, but you know, Jordan was a failed vegan and now she has a private jet. I mean, why not go somewhere where there's an actual startup culture that's not gross about where you went to high school, where they want to build you up and not tear you down?" And so they end up in sunny California, which is very fitting because that's where I am right now. Although I'm here for work and not because I'm a fan of the startup culture here. 3 months later, there's a whole film crew in the blonde vegan's house getting ready to do their interview with Belle. Belle is wearing the now infamous pink turtleneck as she marches up to the person who set up the interview, demanding full payment right now. "I've been burnt before. I lost weeks to a crisis manager who wasn't the guy you call in a crisis. He was the crisis. I'm a little low on trust right now. The full $75K in my account right now or we call off the interview." At the same time, Justin has arranged for an interview with Fiona's family. Belle left a larger crater in their little family than we could ever possibly know. Belle got us tarred with the same brush. People across the street just avoid us. The other day, an angry mob showed up on our front door wanting their donations back. My son has brain cancer, so I asked them, "What proof do you want?" One of them said that a funeral would be nice. And on the other side of the world, Belle is getting $75K while getting questioned about her cancer. You claim in your book you underwent chemotherapy and radiation for 2 months. True or false? At the time, true or false? True, because at the time I believed I was having radiation. Nobody wants to live with the fear of a mental illness or dying. No, nobody knows better than people who actually live with that. But you didn't live with that. That's not what you had. No, it's not. But for years, I lived with the fear that I was dying. And that is horrible. And I'm still coming to terms with that I can take that off my shoulders now. Did you live in fear of being found out? No, because I wasn't living in a space where I didn't know that this wasn't my reality. And the reality now is that you don't have cancer. Belle, it's a simple question. Do you have cancer? I really, really hope not. The interview ends and life kind of just resumes for everyone. Belle goes back to playing with Clive and her kid. Chanel, Joe, and Arlo plant trees in Mila's front yard with smiles on their faces. Fiona decides to stop Hunter's treatment. And Justin finally patches things up with Lucy. She attends her chemotherapies religiously now, goes to the surgeries they recommend for her. She and Justin go to yoga classes together, relax on beaches together. And while the show doesn't explicitly state this, I'd like to think that Lucy made a full recovery, and that is the end. I know the ending is a little bittersweet because while you like that everyone else is moving on, you know that Fiona's world is forever broken, and Belle basically gets off with a slap on her wrist. Basically in 2017, the Australian Supreme Court slapped a shit ton of fines on her, and that's about it. But what can you do? Not all con artists can go to jail, apparently. Anyway, when we started this journey months ago, I said I would tell you what was real versus what was fake at the end, so here is the breakdown. Belle Gibson is real. Everything mentioned in the show about her childhood, her romantic life, her son, the fake cancer, and her massive Instagram following under the handle Healing Belle is real. The only part of her story that's fabricated is her relationship with Mila. Mila wasn't exactly one person. Instead, she was like an amalgamation of multiple different medicine gurus at the time, like alternative medicine gurus. She was, however, pretty heavily based on Jess Azenkopf. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Jess and Belle actually did not know each other. Justin is also a made-up character. He's pretty loosely based on Beau Donnelly and Nick Toscano, who were journalists at the age, but neither of them had Alycia. Instead, they found out about Belle through a tip that was sent to them, and surprise, that tip was sent by Chanel. Chanel is a real person. In the show, she was framed as Mila's friend turned Belle's manager / friend, but in real life, she was Belle's friend first. The seizure that was staged during her kid's party, along with the chickpea curry incident, were what caused real life Chanel to send in that tip. And that is the extent of my knowledge. I know this was a long time, but we are finally finished, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I did. I would have really loved to see Belle behind bars, but there's not much we can do about that. On a completely unrelated note, have you guys watched the new Alice in Borderland series yet? By the time this video comes out, I think season 3 of that show would have also been out by a couple days now, and I have a feeling it's going to live up to all of the hype that's surrounding it. I would love to hear your thoughts around both this recap and that new show, so put them down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!